Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we've got Saturday's racing, which obviously predominantly revolves around Royal Ascot. However, there are a few races away from Royal Ascot that I'm very interested in. I don't think we've got the prices about them yet, but I'll be keeping an eye on them to see what prices we can get. Just going to move my screen slightly. So let's go through the Royal Ascot first. First of all, I hope that the ratings can continue in the fine form that they are. There's been 9 top-rated winners, and they found the winner of the Britannia, the super competitive handicap, the Royal Hunt Cup, the Ascot Stakes, what was it at the end of yesterday? Was it the Copper Horse? Nope. The 5 furlong sprint yesterday. Basically, 5 very tricky handicaps. And it's found the top-rated winner in 5 of them. That's super impressive. 9 top-rated winners in total, others including Kyprios, Isra, Illinois, and Auguste Rodin. So if you're not subscribed to our ratings, you're definitely missing out. But anyway, let's talk about my thoughts for tomorrow's racing. Starting off looking at the 2:30 at Ascot, the 7 furlong Chesham Stakes, and this looks between the Godolphin and the Aidan O'Brien horse. Bedtime Story and Age of Gold. Now, something that really strikes me here is their prices last time out. So they've both had one run. Age of Gold went off 11 to 10 in a novice stakes, and she was too good for her rivals. She was very impressive. Now, Aidan O'Brien's horse, now bearing in mind it's an Aidan O'Brien horse, went off 5 to 1, and Ryan Moore was on Giselle, who got beat. Now, if Bedtime Story had been showing that much at home, they either wouldn't have ran Giselle against her, or they would have gone, Ryan would have ridden Bedtime Story. He didn't. That would be a concern for me. That's enough to put me onto the Godolphin horse. It's a colt against the fillies. I think the colt's going to come out on top here. I think he's going to be too good for Bedtime Story. The fact that, as I said, Ryan didn't even choose to ride it last time out. It went off 5 to 1. They didn't think a lot of it at that time. And the fact that it's running in the listed race demonstrates it's not one of their better horses. But the Godolphin obviously felt there was enough in Age of Gold. They ran him over 6. He'll step up to 7. I think he'll improve for that. And I think he's the better price to start tomorrow, which you can get 7 to 2 now. Is being supported. Seaplane has just come out. Moving on to the 3:05, the Hardwicke Stakes. This time I'm going to go for the Aidan O'Brien Ryan Moore horse, and that is Continuous. I think Continuous is a very, very smart horse, and his rating reflects that. He's been given a official rating of 120. Some of his wins last year, including in the St Ledger over 1 mile and 6, very good effort. 5th at Longchamp behind Ace Impact, nothing wrong with that. 2nd at Ascot behind King of Steel. That's proper Group 1 form, really. Is there a Group 1 rival in this race? That's what we've got to look at here. Desert Hero was a good winner last year at Royal Ascot, but I don't think he's Group 1 class, is he? His 3 defeats recently. He got beat in the St Ledger by 3 1/4 lengths by Continuous. He got beat in a Group 3, the Gordon Richards. He was 5th last time out in a Group 3. That, for me, is not strong enough form. I don't think any of the others have really got strong enough form behind. The only one who might be the fly in the ointment is Middle-earth. But when Middle-earth took on Continuous in the St Ledger, Continuous was far too good. Now, granted, that was on soft ground, and maybe he's just a much better horse on good ground. I think he is. But would I have put King of Conquest as being as good as Continuous? No. And yet Middle-earth only just scraped home to beat King of Conquest on the line. I don't think that's good enough form. I think Continuous can win this and to be another winner for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. Let's have a look at the prices. This one is favourite. 6 to 4. about continuous. Moving on to the 345, the Queen Elizabeth Jubilee Stakes, the Group 1 over 6 furlongs. Now, I don't think these Group 1s over 5 and 6 have been that good. I think they've had a lot of question marks about them being proper Group 1 races, and I kind of feel we've got the same situation again here as we did earlier in the week. Millstream is a handicapper that's gone to win group races. Believing is similar. I think Shartash is similar again. Not group class. I think the proper Group 1 horse in this race, or the proper group horse in this race, excuse me, is Kinross. I think his form has been good enough to be suggesting he's just short of Group 1 class, whereas I think some of the others are a little bit further off than that, personally. I think he's very consistent, Kinross. Normally runs his race. Probably his last disappointing run was actually here last year when he went off 6-1 for the Group 1. Now he's going to go off a similar price again, and yet I think this is a much easier Group 1. Last year we had Highfield Princess. We had a couple coming over from Australia, like the Astrologist. I think that was Australia. Yeah, I think that was a better race. Artorias also had a really big chance that day. Proper Group 1 horses. I don't think we've got a proper Group 1 horse in this race, personally, and I think Kinross can take advantage of that and win a weak Group 1. Let's have a look at the price. If you wanted to do a horse that I think is the wrong price, it's probably Quino. Right down here, but I'm not really that interested in this. I think I'm just going to go for the winner, hopefully, and that's Kinross. Interesting to see the support for Mit Bahi in this Group 1, and we'll come on to that a little bit later as to why. Moving on to the 425, the Jersey Stakes. Who do I like here? So this was between River Tiber and Hartum. I think they're clear, and there's not a lot between them on their Irish Guineas form. But I think the key thing here is Hartum had the runs, River Tiber had not. Hartum ran off levels that day, is now £3 worse off with River Tiber. I think with fitness and £3 better off, I think River Tiber is going to reverse that form and beat Hartum this time. And I think they're clear of the field. I think they're both Group 1 horses running in a group 3. But I think River Tiber should progress more than Hartum, based on that Hartum had already been out a couple of times before running second. Whereas that fitness run, you've also got to remember River Tiber has won at Ascot before, won the Coventry last year, beating Army Ethos. So has the Royal Ascot form as well in the bag. So yeah, I can't get away from River Tiber here, to be honest, over the 6 furlong trip. The 1 mile might have just stretched him last amount. He is the right favourite, and he's relatively short, but I think that's about right, to be honest. You can get 7-4 about him. I think that's the right price. We move on to the Wokingham, the big handicap. Fingers crossed the ratings can smash it again in the handicap. Who do I like here? Well, I can't tell you where they are on the ratings, but the 2 horses that I like in this race are this one and this one. So we'll start off with Mum's Tipple. What do I like Mum's Tipple? I think Mum's Tipple's got some decent form at Ascot, off higher marks as well. We look back through the horse's career. Last time he ran it at Ascot, second off a mark of 99. Runs tomorrow off 96. Second behind Escobar, over 7 furlongs. This is 6, but we know that this horse has got a lot of pace. When the horse won the Yearling Stakes a few years ago, was super impressive, over 6 at York. I don't think the drop back in trip is an issue at all. Also finished 4th over 6 off a mark of 100 in the Wokingham last year. So finished 4th last year off 100, beaten a length and a half, £4 lower this year. I don't think he's been running badly either. His second to Mount Athos at Kempton was a decent effort. Then went to Newmarket, ran a good race again for fourth. Last time out at Epsom, maybe just didn't like the track, or something didn't quite go to plan. Just having a look, I don't think the horse had ever run there before. He had not ever run there before, so maybe he just didn't act at Epsom. But it might have worked out nicely in the fact that he stays here off 96, £4 lower than when a decent fourth last year. Went off 11 to 1 last year, and yet this year we actually move on. Mum's Tipple is a bigger price than that at the moment. You can comfortably get 16 to 1 about Mum's Tipple. The second horse that I am going to select in this race is Unequal Love. I think Unequal Love is very interesting. She is only a 4-year-old. And last year I thought she ran some really good races, including when finishing fourth behind Funny Story. Now, if you follow my videos, you know I'm a big fan of Funny Story. I've always fancied her to be as good as her rating now suggests she is. She's currently as high as 102. And I think her form this season has been good. Now, interestingly, this season, Unequal Love has beaten Funny Story. Beat Funny Story at Newmarket. And then last time out, finished fifth behind Mit Bahi. Now, Mit Bahi is being backed for the Group 1. Regional finished, did he finish second or third in the Group 1 earlier this week over 5? He finished second behind Asfura. So the first two are probably Group 1 horses. Art Power, who was fourth, is a multiple Group 1 horse. I think he's won a couple of times at the Curragh, also at Ascot. There's three of the four in front of Unequal Love are probably suggesting they are at least group horses, if not Group 1 horses. Unequal Love gets to run here in a handicap. I think she could be very, very well handicapped here. And I think this is a significant drop in class compared to her last two efforts, which have probably been her best two bits of form we've seen. And if they are, and I've got that right, we could certainly see a lot more from Unequal Love back into this company. This could be a lot of a significantly easier race than what she ran in last time. So they are my two, and Unequal Love is bigger price than he should be, or she should be for sure. 16s you can get about Unequal Love. So 16s Unequal Love and 16s for Mum's Tipple. I think both of those are bigger than they should be. We keep going. 5:40. Penultimate race of Royal Ascot. I'm not sure why we haven't got the silks at the moment. The odds are probably just coming through still. I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm picking two in this race, and they're both right at the head of the market. They are Hand of God and Approval. Now, Hand of God is one of these horses that Harry Cholton or Roger Cholton used to get that looked incredibly progressive, and they should have had a winner yesterday. King's Gambit should have won yesterday in a group race, and I kind of feel that this might be a very similar horse that is a group horse now running in a handicap or staying in a handicap. One last time out at Sandown over a mile. They stepped the horse up in trip. They've probably been waiting. They've been waiting to step the horse up in trip with the thought of, as soon as we run in a better race, as soon as we go up in trip, we can run in a better race and be aiming at, winning a nice handicap with the horse. 4 runs ago, finished fourth to Going the Distance. Obviously a Royal Ascot winner now, winning the King George V Stakes yesterday. 3 runs ago was actually fifth behind Cambridge. I don't think that's bad form. And has won the last 2. Returned, as I said, in the Esher Cup, winning relatively comfortably in my opinion, although he only won by a neck. I thought the horse was always winning, always holding on. And yeah, up in trip now. I think that's the key to this horse. Looks very progressive. Second horse I like is Approval. I think the horse, again, they had targeted to get a handicap mark with the horse. They got one before returning to Windsor in June. Went to the turf for the first time. On the turf, on good to firm ground. And the horse put in a massive performance compared to its previous efforts. One going away from Lord of Love. John and Thady Gosden wouldn't have held on to that for too long if it's no good. Approval showed that, yeah, the £8 rise from 82 to 90, although it wasn't a handicap, is probably justified. The horses behind were rated 85 and 89, and Approval's absolutely walloped them. Approval could just be still well ahead of his mark, and I think he's very interesting as well. They are both at the head of the market, but I couldn't really not pick either of them. I think they'll be the two that will have the biggest chance tomorrow for sure. Hand of God and Approval, and they are 3-1 and 7-1. Moving on to the final race of Royal Ascot, the Queen Alexandra Stakes. It's a bit of a boring one. Interesting to see Trushan's in it. Will he take his chance, considering he got taken out of the Gold Cup on the ground? The horse that I'm going to go for here is Queenstown. Few reasons. So first of all, the form behind Kyprios does look good form. You can't argue with that. Kyprios has obviously gone on and retained or what's the word when you win it back? Regained his Royal Ascot Gold Cup crown. Now, does the horse want further? That would be the big question here. So the horse has been winning been running well over 1 mile and 6 behind Kyprios. Does the horse want further? In my opinion, yes. And I think they believe that as well, in the fact that they started this horse. They started Queenstown over 1 mile and 5. If they start a horse over 1 mile and 5, they think the horse wants 2 miles, 2.5 miles, maybe even 3 miles in time, and could be seen over hurdles or fences. But 2.5 mile on the flat is probably what this horse needs to really bring out its best. You can forgive its first run back when third. That was only 1 mile and 2. Second to Kyprios obviously looked good form over 1 mile and 6. And again, second to Kyprios over 1 mile and 6. Up in trip now, up to 2.5. Beaten by the Gold Cup winner. I can't get away from Queenstown, to be honest. And that horse you can currently get at 100 to 30. I think it'll go off favourite. So they are my selections at Royal Ascot. I do just want to talk about a few others away from Royal Ascot. Starting off looking at Ayr, where we will be looking at the 555. 555, I'm just having a look. Yes, this race here, the Johnston Bowl. Very interested in one. And I think we're going to get a bigger price about this horse than it should be. And that horse is Yukon Glen. Now, Yukon Glen actually ran in this race last year. I'm just waiting for it to... Ran in this race last year off a mark of... Just checking it. .99. Finished fourth, beaten a length and a quarter. Went off 11-2. Good run. Then, in September, over 1 mile and 2, came back, finished a head second to Thundering of 96. So, fourth of 99, second of 96, runs tomorrow of 88. I think that's the key. The forecast price that I can see is 10s. I'd love that. I would love 10s about Yukon Glen tomorrow. You can see they haven't priced up yet. Really, really keen on Yukon Glen. Probably the best one away from Royal Ascot, in my opinion. If we can get anything above like 4 or 5 to 1, to be honest, I think it would have. He'll definitely have some of my money on him. I then want to talk about one at Redcar, 415. Redcar, 415. This has got to be the chance for Russet Gold to kick on. I don't think there's anything progressive in this race, really. These are all horses that have come down the weights or been beaten in easier races. Russet Gold has been quite highly tried. And I think there's a few key things about him. He's a course and distance winner. His last win actually came at course and distance, or over course and distance, beating Paddy's Day off 85. Yes, he's up to 94 now, but some of his efforts since then haven't been bad. Only beaten a length and a bit by Copper Knight at Pontefract. Second to Dark Trooper. Dark Trooper runs at Royal Ascot and he's favourite, I think, for a race. Then 7th in a race behind Dark Trooper, again in a better race than this. Some of the others in the race were Bresson, for example, William Twee, Bacento. Russet Gold went off as a 3-1 favourite that day for that race. Has returned recently, finished third behind Glenfinnan and Billy Joe. Didn't Billy Joe run well at Ascot yesterday, I think? Yep, finished second at Ascot recently, yesterday. I mean, that form looks strong. This looks a really easy race for Russet Gold, to be honest, and I'd be very disappointed if Russet Gold doesn't win that. The horse is going to be priced accordingly. The horse is going to be the favourite, but I'm hoping we can get anything above 6-4, and I'd be quite happy with that about Russet Gold. And finally, do I have one at Ascot? I don't mean Ascot, I mean Newmarket. No, that'll be it then. So let's have a very quick recap. Let's use the here, otherwise we will lose all of access to the odds. Starting off in the 230, I like Age of Gold over Bedtime Story. I think Godolphin know it's a good colt, whereas I think the filly may find this step too classy for her, even at this relatively low level for Aidan O'Brien horse. Hardwicke Stakes, Continuous has the best form. As long as he's fit for his comeback run, all the others do have fitness on their side. I only feel that Middle Earth is the potential danger, but on their occasion they did take on each other. Continuous was a comfortable winner. QE2, I think it's a weak Group 1. With that in mind, I'm going for what I think is the best Group 2 horse in the race, and that's Kinross. Jersey Stakes, I like... Who do I like? River Tiber, with that run under his belt now. Plus £3 better off with Hartem. I think River Tiber will win. Wokingham, Mum's Tipple, much better handicap than last year. Still ran well last year. And also has some other good form at Ascot, off higher marks and Unequal Love. I thought that was a very good effort last time out, when 5th against probably group horses. Drops back into a handicap here. 540, Approval looks very progressive. Hand of God could be that horse that is the handicap good thing at Royal Ascot this year. Like last year we kind of had Vauban, didn't we? It could be Hand of God this year. And finally, in the Queen Alexandra Stakes, or in the Alexandra Stakes, I like Queenstown. Second to Kyprios is good form, as we know. I think the triple really suit. The fact that they started their horse over 1 mile and 5 as well. Couple more. Off to Ayr, 555. Eucan Glen off a much lower handicap mark. Has finished second just 2 runs ago, so it's not like he's badly out of form and lost his way. This is his ideal trip. And finally, at Redcar, Russet Gold. It's gone off favourite for a much better race just 2 runs ago. Ran okay last time, went third. The second has come out and gone really close at Royal Ascot. I think this is his easiest race for a little while.